UFC 287, Pereira versus Adesanya 2 takes place this weekend, and I'm going to go through the full card breakdown and in detail prediction, starting with the early prelim opener of Sam Hughes versus Jacqueline Amorim. I'm going to be going for Jacqueline Amorim, probably one of the locks in the card, if I'm honest with you. She'll win this. No doubt about it, I think. She's good, and I think she'll go far in her career. She's 27. She's destroying everyone. It's not like one of these girls who are doing good in some fights, but then gets a split decision victory, like a Sam Hughes would. But she's destroying everyone. Armbar, knee bar, punches, aka knockout. Rear naked choke, armbar, arm triangle. She only lost a grappling match to a decent opponent, and she lost by points, so it's not like she got subbed or something like that. And she's good, but I think she'll win this over Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes is just, she loses fights. She has a good pace, she has decent cardio, she's a decent fighter. She knows what she's doing most of the time. But Pierre Rodriguez beat her. Luana Pinheiro beat her. Brazilians specifically beat her. Loma Lukbin beat her. Tish Torres dominated her, short notice or not, still destroyed her. I think she's going to win this one. Probably, right? Beats up Sam Hughes in the first round. Slows down in the second. I think the first round's going to be domination. Just going to point that out. 10-8. Wins the second 10-9 and loses the third. I'll go 29-27. Jacqueline Amorim. I think she gets it done. We move on. She's a huge favorite as well. 27 years old. American top team behind her. We move on up the card. Steve Garcia versus Shayilan Nuerdanbeke. I'm going to be going with Shayilan Nuerdanbeke. Again, I don't see what's special with Steve Garcia. I mean, he's good, but there's nothing special about him. There's nothing special about him. You don't ever see, you point out to me, what is one thing Steve Garcia is really good at? Nothing really. Yeah, you KO'd Chase Hooper, you're the GOAT. It's just, but are we going to forget about Shate, who got exposed in his last fight by a different Garcia, KO'd Garcia, Steve Garcia, out cold in round 1? Charlie Ontiveros he beat, but had a tough round 1. So I can see Shayilan winning a decision. Shayilan's a pretty boring fighter, but yeah, I mean, he dominated Derek Minner, dominated TJ Brown, Sean Soriano. Competitive fights. TJ Brown fight was close, but he wins them, and he's good. He's good. This guy, I think, will reach the rankings, I think. He's good, and he's consistent, and he's getting these wins. And he only lost to Calvillo. That's all he lost to. You gotta pick him against Steve Garcia. If you're picking Steve Garcia, I question you a little bit. We move on. I think he'll win a decision, by the way. Out-grappling Steve Garcia. Yeah, I don't see Garcia chinning him. You gotta beat Shayilan with cardio, and Steve Garcia, he does have good cardio, but when he pours it on. So yeah, I don't know. I think he needs to make Shayilan scrap, and I just don't see that. We move on. And the odds agree with me as well. We move on up the card to Trey Ogden versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I'm gonna go for Bahamondes. People forget, Bahamondes, we watched the Wrong Jew fight again. He's good. He is very good. It's not like he just got that one wheel kick out of nowhere when he was losing the whole fight, and he's good because of that. No, this guy has legit skill. Yeah, I know Wrong Jew's not the best. Same with Roosevelt Roberts, but he was originally supposed to fight Mata. He got a replacement opponent in Ogden, who was also supposed to fight against Manuel Torres. You gotta pick him though, I think. You have to pick Bahamondes. Mata, I think, was gonna be more of a tough fight, because Mata has that power where he can lay you out. But Ogden is just, he's good, Ogden. I was going to pick him against Manuel Torres. I didn't think Manuel Torres was that good. And we never saw that fight happen. I thought Ogden was going to win, though. I still think he wins. But Daniel Zahuber, that's a good win. Daniel Zahuber is a good win. But Jordan Levitt fight. Levitt, close fight. I think Levitt won it barely, but some people thought Ogden won to the point where it's a really close fight. But I think Baja Mendes is better than Levitt. I think Baja Mendes would beat Levitt, if I'm honest with you. I think you would pretty easily KO him in one of the rounds, first 2 rounds. And I think you got to have some good power, or at least threatening power, to put out Baja Mendes, because he's a little bit shitty. We saw him lose to McDessie. I don't think Ogden wins, and I don't think he'll win on strikes, and I don't see him out-grappling Baja Mendes either, so I think Baja Mendes will pick him at range, piece him up, Ogden will stay in there, maybe have a good 3rd round, and there'll be a little bit of questions in Baja Mendes' 3rd round game, but I'll go for Baja Mendes winning this one. I think the odds agree here. Yeah, he's a massive favorite. I think Baja Mendes wins. We move on. Up, and he's also 6'3". I don't know if that's correct, but he's 25 years old as well. Got lots of time. We move on. Up the card. Huge reach as well. Reach advantage. Cynthia Calvillo versus Lupita Godinez. Locks of the card, in my opinion. I don't even get this matchmaking, but Godinez will obviously smash her in round 1. Obviously. It's just, you can't pick Calvillo. I don't think she can. Cynthia Calvillo was once decent in her career, but against 2. Pearl Gonzalez, Amanda Cooper, and she beat UFC fighters that are in the UFC today in the regional scenes, like Montana De La Rosa and Jillian Robertson, but it's just recently, Nunez is a part-time fighter, and she lost at her. I get it could have been her win, but to make it close, and I know Nina Nunez at one point was good in her career, an actual skilled female fighter. But come on, you should be able to beat Nina Nunez, and she lost to her by split decision, and Nunez could win that as well. That's so bad. And Andrea Lee beat her up. Same with Andrade Chukagian. She beat Jessica Ai. Good job. Good style matchup for you to win that. And Andrea Lee folds with the grappling. I know she looked good against Barber last fight, but usually Andrea Lee just folds and just covers up with the grappling. And still, Calvillo got beat up by her. I can't pick her. I'm going to go Godinez by TKO I'll go with. I don't think Calvillo wants it anymore. I really don't. I think she's just here for the money. Let's be real. Yeah, I think Godinez will win this one. At least she's making it close against Angela Hill. And she beat Carnelossi and Luma Lookboom. Good wins. Competitive fights. Not the Carnelossi fight, but the Lookboom fight was competitive, but she still pulled out the bag. And Carolina fight, ignore that one. Carolina would also beat Cynthia Calvillo, I think. I think she wins it. We move on. And she made Silvana Gomez-Juarez look easy. First round, I don't know. We'll see. I'll go TKO. Armbar. No, I'll go armbar. One of the rounds. We move on. Gerald Meerschaert versus Joseph Pyfer. Gonna go for Joe Pyfer. I'll just call him Joe. It's a little bit easier than Joseph Pyfer every sentence. I think Joe Pyfer wins. I think he does. The meme of it all, GM3, whatever, beating the contenders, but this is one where you have to go Joe Pyfer. GM3 is good, but it's just, he's beatable. You can beat him somehow. I get it. He looked good against Bruno Silva. I don't understand that. But he looked good against Bruno Silva. But Jocko was able to pick him apart. And it wasn't even like that fight was close. Like, he just casually picked apart Gerald Meerschaert, stuffed the takedowns. Yeah. I think, what's it called? I think GM3 will lose. I think so. Stoltzfus was out grappling him. And I get Stoltzfus was taking down Pyfer, but it's an old Pyfer. It's a young Pyfer that snapped his arm. Who knows what that fight was going to go like? Let's be real. If Pyfer didn't snap his arm against Stoltzfus, we wouldn't have known. But Muradov, he beat Fabinski. Chimaev knocked him out. So even if I think Piper will just get the takedowns, land till strikes. And I don't see GM3 getting out the bag in round 3. And Piper can also KO him. You know, we've seen Piper against that's such a tongue twister name. Alan Amedovsky in that last fight. He beat him by KO. So even then he can KO Mearshart. And he beat Ozzy Diaz as well. I think he wins. Could get guillotined though, but I think he'll win against Mearshart. We move on. Up the card. Carl Williams versus Chase Sherman. You gotta go for Carl Williams here. Taking this on short notice. It was supposed to be Chris Barnett. That would have been an even fight there. Barnett, Sherman. I probably would have went Barnett, but yeah, it sucks Barnett pulled out. Because he's like the crowd gifter in arenas and pay-per-views and the prelims. But yeah, I think Carl Williams gets this one done by boring decision. But he's kind of good. You know, he dominated that last guy in Lucas Brzeski. Dominated him, turning back around, staying active. I don't know how old he is. 33, so it's now or never, basically. So, yeah, I'll go for him against Chase Sherman. Because Chase Sherman is not that good. He beat Vandera, but Waldo Cortez Acosta just picked him apart. So even then, I think Williams can chew up on him on the feet. I'll go with submission, actually. I don't think Chase Sherman's that good. Nah, actually good decision. This guy's got a lot of decisions. So I'll go decision 30-26. Chase Sherman will stay in there. But I think he'll get dominated over the 3 rounds. We move on with the grappling as well. We move on. Up the card. Michelle Waterson Gomez versus Luana Pinheiro. You have to go with Luana Pinheiro, I think, here. It's close, but I just don't think Michelle Waterson has it anymore. Like, I really don't see where she's good anymore. I get she was out grappling Lemos, but Lemos, I don't know. She caught her on a guillotine, and it still happened. And even then, she was arguably losing on damage. And Rodriguez beat her. The only person she beat was Angela Hill in this whole winning, this losing streak she's going on. She only beat Angela Hill, and she arguably lost round 5 on damage, in losing the first 2 rounds as well, winning round 3 and 4. But I don't know. I think she'll lose. She made it close against Esparza. I don't know. I think Pinheiro's decent, not the best, not a future champ, but decent enough to beat Michelle Waterson. You know? She beat Sammy Hughes, picked it apart, beat Rana Marcos. With a legal upkick, though. She kind of milked it there, but still, I think she'll just win against, what's it called? I think she'll just win this one by just outstriking Michelle Waterson in a close competitive fight. Split decision I'll go with. Yeah, I'll go split decision win for her there. We move on up the card to Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. This is gonna be a long prediction video, not prediction, but full card betting breakdown video. But Curtis, obviously Curtis. You can't go Gastelum with a logic take here. He won't out grapple Curtis. That's not gonna happen. Kelvin Gastelum's grappling offensively isn't what it was. I don't even think I'd trust him against other guys. But Curtis specifically, he's not going to out-grapple him. Curtis got a great takedown defense. And I don't see him KOing Curtis. And I think that's his only way of winning. I don't see him winning on points. So I think he's got to KO Curtis and have the big one punch out of nowhere. Gastelum, that fought Bisping. I'll go Gastelum. No, I'm not going to go Gastelum. I'm going to go Curtis. I don't think Curtis can KO Gastelum. But it's more likely Gastelum KOing Curtis. And Curtis, I don't see him getting the takedown to Gastelum, but it's going to be who can get their game off first. I think Curtis can. He's on a momentum streak. He beat Joaquin Buckley, even though he arguably was losing the fight. He still caught Buckley and timed him Wasn't like a fluke or anything. And Buckley's chinny. So, I don't know. I think Curtis wins. I know he lost to Hermanson. But Hermanson beat Gosling easily. Round 1 sub. I know Hermanson might have changed. More so of a stand-up type of guy now. And not shooting for heel hooks. But Curtis held his own against Hermanson. Lost the fight. 2 rounds to 1. But short notice Curtis. If that was a full camp, Curtis might win. So I'm going to go for Curtis by body shots. I think it's a big key here. Both even. Both can win. But come on. Body shots for Curtis. More active. Gosling hasn't been in there since the Cannonier fight, where he took lots of damage. You gotta take Curtis. You have to take Curtis. I think he wins. Body shot, TKO. Round number 2, I'll go with. An even fight, boring fight I'll go with as well early on. People think this will be a firefight. I think this will be quite boring early on. We move on. Up the card to the main card. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. Raul. You gotta go Raul. Rodriguez isn't a bad underdog. But he's good in that. He's actually kind of good, Christian Rodriguez. But you gotta go Raul. Yeah. I think Raul wins. Gets the back. Gets a second round sub, I'll go with. I think Christian Rodriguez might get his back taken in round 1. But survives. He's not Jay Perrin. I think Rodriguez would beat Jay Perrin. But I think he'll win. I think he'll win. Second round sub. Rodriguez makes a mistake after trying to go for something, probably. I think Raul wins. Standing rear naked choke. I think Raul gets it done. I think he does. Rodriguez is good, though, but JSP beat him. And JSP I don't think is as highly as other people do. And he beat him. Short notice or not, he still beat him. And that last guy he fought, Joshua Weems, was doing good against him. And Raul's, I think, good. I think Rodriguez is good as well. I think Rodriguez would beat Jay Perrin. And he's actually a decent. But we said Jay Perrin was decent. Coming into that fight, I know people don't think that now, but people said Jay Perrin was a decent fighter, especially hardcores. But no. Christian Rodriguez is also decent. Yeah. Be funny if he gets KO, though. But Raul, he has decent stand-up. He knows what he's doing. Not like he leaves his chin open like Pimlet and that. But, yeah, I think... Well, sometimes he does, but I think he gets it done. I think he does. Move on. Up the card to the main card. We already on the main card. Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. Probably another lock on the card, to be honest with you. Yeah. Kevin Holland wins. Listen, if Ponzi somehow pulls this off, I'll be shocked. I'll be really shocked if he somehow pulls this off, because, first off, he doesn't grapple, so I don't see him out-grappling Holland. And even if he tried, I don't think it'll work. I don't see him KOing Holland. So I think he's got to outpoint Holland on the feet, and I just don't see him doing that. With the chin he has and the openings on the feet he has, if I'm him, I'd chop the legs of Holland. Chew up the body. But he's gonna get chinned, I think. Morono's good, and I think Morono's really underrated in that division. But Morono's not the type of guy to KO you. And still, he dropped Ponzi and was winning the first 2 rounds. Ponzi found it out the bag. I don't see him doing that against Holland. He's gonna get chinned. Holland's gonna catch him with a big counter on the chin, round 1. I'll go with. Lost to Wonder Boy and took a lot of damage, but if he was fighting like a power puncher Holland, I'd be worried. But he's fighting Ponzi. He'll win. He'll obviously win this one, I think. Holland wins. First round, not Rennick choke. First round sub. No, first round KO. Jeez, I'm so stupid today. We move on. And I think Holland wins. We move on. Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. I'm going Rob Font. You have to. Nunez is good, and he could just get the KO. There is a worry I have, and he could just find it. But Rob Font, and I was switching back and forth on this one, he's taking a lot of damage, and this is the worry I have, and that's that percentage chance where Nunez can win. I don't think he's that good. Who is Nunez beaten? He beat Tony Kelly. A trash talker that doesn't back up anything and just gets KO'd. Good job. Good job. Davey Grant beat him pretty clearly. 2 rounds to 1. Randy Costa was pacing him up. Rob Font has way more power than Randy Costa. Randy Costa's more so of like a head kicker type of guy. Kicker. He doesn't outbox people. In fact, if I think so, he probably grapples more than he boxes. And he was able to piece up Adrian Yanez. I get it, Yanez might have improved. But he beat Tony Kelly. That tells me nothing. Tony Kelly, you beat Tony Kelly. Basically, it's like he was looking up the rankings and he stepped down to Tony Kelly. Doesn't tell me anything. He beat Tony Kelly. And Lopez and Rodriguez, those guys aren't good. So, Font has better boxing than Costa. Way better boxing. Maybe... I think Font... Listen. People call him chinny, and he is a bit chinny. But he fought Garbrandt, and he didn't get dropped or anything. I know Garbrandt's not the level of Aldo, but... Yanez doesn't have Vera and Aldo's power. And still, Font was able to survive. Maybe this is one of those fights where he just gets chinned round 1 because the damage was too much and his chin can't take it anymore. Just maybe. But Font can grapple. He can piece up Nunez. Randy Costa had a problem with cardio. Font will have the cardio and power, better boxing, and win himself a close 29-28 decision. Font wins. Font will skull him. I think he'll skull Nunez. Yeah. But there's that chance where Nunez can get him. But I think skill-wise, for both of them in boxing, Font's better. Font's better than him. But we'll see. Font could get chinned, and that could be the end. But, yeah, he fought Moraes and easily beat him. Was getting out-grappled by Moraes, but it's not like Nunez grapples. Font wins. We move on. Up the card to the co-main event. Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal. Burns. I think Burns will win. To be honest, I want Masvidal to win. I kind of do. Because there's bigger fights. I'd much rather see Edwards Masvidal than Edwards Burns. That's just not going to sell anything. They're going to be nice in they might be, maybe Edwards will poke at him, but Edwards Masvidal is the one we want to see. Storyline, they were supposed to fight before. We all want Masvidal Edwards. Possibly more than Masvidal versus Covington. But Covington, I actually prefer Masvidal Edwards over Edwards Covington. Well, yeah. But in terms of this fight, I just think Burns is just gonna win. And he's looking better in his performances as well. You see the Wonder Boy performance, and you prefer it to you compare it to the Magny performance. And again, Magny's not that good, but you get what I mean. I think he'll win this against Masvidal by. Does he get a finish? Does Masvidal finally tap? I was thinking ground and pound TKO or something. I'll go fuck! Masvidal! He's so good at not getting subbed, but it's just, I don't think he wins this. I don't think this is going to be close. I really don't see Masvidal putting up a decent show. But it's in Miami, and Burns will get the boos. It might get to him. I don't know. I think Burns will win. He's looking better. He's looking better in each form, mentally and physically. Masvidal is just the complete opposite, in my opinion. I think Burns will win. And land some big shots in the feet. People say Burns is chinny. Masvidal doesn't land jabs. straight shots like Chimaev and Usman can. And even then, Burns put up a good show against both. More so against Chimaev, though. Against Usman, I think he... Listen, 9 out of 10 times that don't happen against Usman. It's a competitive, close fight where Usman gets the edge and wins a close decision or a late round TKO. Burns, it was just a big moment for him. He's been through it now against Chimaev. Big spot on a pay-per-view. And that's arguably bigger than this one. You know, I just don't see it. Be good if Masvidal won, but it's just... I think Burns will win. I think he's better than Jorge. Jorge could catch him, but you need to land straight shots. Jabs, straight right hands. More so jabs against Burns. Masvidal throws uppercuts, hooks, overhands. I think this is going to be bad for Masvidal, and I'll go finish. I'm done with I'll go finish. I think Burns will get it. I think he'll land big shots on Masvidal. Masvidal covers up. Burns shoots, takes down Masvidal. Gets like a... I don't know. Gets like an arm triangle, I'll say. I don't think he'll get the back of Masvidal, but I think it's him getting a tight arm triangle. Similar to the Magny performance, but a little bit more like risky on the feet for Burns. So I'll go Burns. We move on up the card to the main event. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 2, the rematch. I'm going to be going for Alex Pereira. I got to. I have to. I am forced to pick him. Listen, I get it. Izzy was winning the first fight, and people, especially casuals, they're just saying like Izzy was dominating till the 5th. He got caught. I sound like Adesanya doing that. Don't look in the 5th and I got caught. Botch. I just think Izzy's gonna lose mentally. I just think he's already lost mentally. He made up excuses for his loss. I know people say, "Oh, you took it so well, champ. You took it so well. You took it so well." I think Usman took his loss against Edwards in the rematch, technically. I think he took the head kick loss, I'll just say, well, better than Adesanya did against his loss against Pereira. I think Pereira wins KO in the first round at the end. Adesanya's good, and he can maybe win, but I just don't know what he can do. Do what he did last time, but better. Maybe land that 1-2 punch where he rocked Izzy at the end of the round, and maybe get the KO, but... Maybe he'll wrestle a little bit more and work with that a little bit. Maybe get some notes from, like, who Volk trains with. Craig Jones. I just don't see it. Pereira's trained with Glover, and Glover, he's done. He's done. Glover's done. You know, at the time of the first fight, Glover was, like, figuring out who he was going to fight. Like, am I going to fight? Well, because Yuri pulled out. Well, I think at the time, he was fighting Yuri, but then Yuri pulled out, and then it was a mess. Was he going to fight the winner of Ankalaev Blachowicz, 2? Oh, it was a draw. A little bit of a mess there again. Then he fought Jamal Hill. Well, he was going to fight Jamal Hill, and he fought him. Glover's done now. He's done. Forever. Maybe he boxes someone, but he's done MMA for now. You know? And he's full focused on Alex Pereira. Pereira's going to have some jiu-jitsu. And in their first fight that they had, Adesanya, he didn't get any takedowns, but maybe one. And that was the hip toss. And this was a mistake by Pereira. Round 1 and 2, yeah, I get Pereira got he got hit at the end and rocked, I get it. Dude was winning the round already. Didn't even need to go for another last blow. He made his own mistakes. I think Pereira wins. I think he'll make this look quite easy. I think people will say, "Oh, but do a trilogy now," or some shit like that, but I think Pereira wins. Makes it look easy. Similar to the Sean Strickland performance, I'll say. I think he wins left hook. I just think he'll win. Dude's really good. People are going to see that. I said this about Edwards. Like, Usman's good, but Edwards is better. Edwards is better than him. And the head kick will affect him, and it did affect him. Usman wasn't looking the same at all. His legs got chewed up. Pereira win this by round 1 KO. At least round 2. Under 3 rounds, I'll say. That's a bet I'll make. Round 1 I'm going to stick with, though. I think he'll be close. Pereira gets it done. I'll make a more in-depth prediction of this tomorrow. But I think Pereira wins round 1 KO. Puts Adesanya out cold. I think Pereira wins. Adesanya's made his millions. He's defended the belt. He's had it. Pereira hasn't. This is his first title defense if he wins. Then he'll fight Adesanya's last recent defenses, like Whitaker, Cannonier, probably Marvin Vettori if he gets another one. Maybe Duplessis. He's a new guy coming up that no one's faced, really. Yeah, I think Pereira gets it done. And light heavyweight as well. Israel failed at light heavyweight against Blachowicz. Now the champion's hands change. Maybe Jamal Hill he can fight. Storyline pair. Maybe he faces Yuri himself. More for Pereira. And if Izzy loses, I would just go up to light heavyweight or stay at middleweight. He'll have to be contender. He'll have to be a contender somewhere. Yeah, if I'm Izzy, I'd fight Sean Strickland. He's looking for someone. Hopefully he doesn't take much damage. Hopefully he probably will get KO'd here, Izzy. Let me take a few months off. Strickland can get a fight in when Izzy's back and Strickland's coming off a win again. Strickland Izzy. Let's make it. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Full card predictions. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.